Hey everybody, welcome back to the next episode of Video Game Collectors on Call. I have another international guest for us today coming from the Netherlands. This is Don or Donny coming to us from Console Variation. How's it going today, man?
Hey there, yeah, I'm doing very well, thank you.
Excellent. I appreciate you working with the time difference. I know it's about 7 hours difference over there, so it's almost close to bedtime soon, huh?
No, actually, it's 7 p.m., so it's all right.
Okay. Not too late, not too late. So tell me about when you started your love for gaming just in general. Do you remember a time maybe when you were younger, like what your first console
Yeah.
was and when that all started?
So I actually stole the NES from my dad back in the days when I was, I don't know, 3 or something. And I played the first game I played was Zelda for the NES and Mario for the NES, and then the Goonies too, because those were the only three games I had.
Wow, okay.
Yeah,
Not
yeah, and
Goonies
those
1,
another.
Goonies 2. Yeah.
Yeah, Goonies too. I'm not sure because I don't think Goonies 1 was released in Europe, but I'm not sure. And
Okay.
then some gun game, Gunpoint or something. I have to look it up.
Hmm.
Anyways, yeah,
No.
that's when I started my love for Nintendo, and then I had the SNES, and then my parents sold the SNES in order to get me the N64. That's I
Hmm.
was kind of sad about because I love the SNES, but the N64 was great. It was actually my entire childhood,
Right.
basically. And then for my own
Same, yeah.
money, it was the GameCube. And then from there, Wii U, and then Switch, and there you go.
So all Nintendo consoles. You never
Only
purchased a
Nintendo.
Sega or a Dreamcast or
I
a Sega
never put
Saturn
no,
or
I never purchased a Sega. My friend has the Sega. I had a PlayStation, but it was like we got a PlayStation as a gift with a box full with burnt games, so the PlayStation was a bit modded. And oh boy, I had loads of fun with it. Yeah, it was the first time I ever got a headache with gaming, so it was great.
do, do you still have that original like Nintendo 64 you had when you were younger or has that since been sold and
I do have it. It's in the next room.
wow.
I do have it. Even the NES that my dad played. It's completely messed up, but
Oh
I still
wow.
have it.
Okay, that's cool. So I guess to answer my next question about when things started to turn into collecting in terms of consoles and console variations, as you call it, is that from the beginning? You were just kind of like, I have to get every console I can?
I wish it was, but no. It was actually I started really collecting 12 years ago, and it was like I had some problems, and then I went to a friend in Vienna where I went to the market, and there I purchased my Pikachu Game Boy Color for like $5 or something, very cheap, and then I noticed like, hey, when I purchased more games, it was like, hey, this is quite fun, I will continue doing this, and in my spare time, I did research about hardware because games, I think it was too boring because of, well,
Everyone collects games, right?
everyone collect games. Yeah, yeah, everyone collects games, but
Yeah.
I collect hardware because hardware has a
Yeah.
story to it.
Yeah.
Every limited edition
Right.
has a story to it, and I like to collect those stories.
True.
And
True.
this is how I started all Sega, all Atari, all Nintendo, all whatever not. And then a few years I had some storage issues because space is very limited here in the Netherlands. So I had to get rid of all the Ataris, all the Sega, but the knowledge is still in here. And then I only kept Nintendo. And now I'm basically collecting all Nintendo colors in every version, but also all the rarities that comes after.
Okay. So currently, then, like you said, you only have Nintendo consoles, right? So GameCube variants and Nintendo
Yes.
64 variants and things like that. So where do you find these consoles? Where's I noticed, for example, we can talk about it a little bit later. You had a gold plated, I think, Nintendo Wii at one
I
point.
had, yes.
Yeah, where did you find something like that? How do you get to obtain these items?
So a magician never reveals their secrets, but hey,
Okay, sure, sure.
no, 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 it's completely fine. It's like you have to think out of the box. It's like in America, you have eBay, you have Craigslist, yeah? And then you have to think like, hey, what's in Mexico? What did they use there? What do they use in Brazil? What do they use in Europe? What do you use in England? And then you figure out all the websites they use, and then you have all the resources, then you have the contacts that are willing to ship to you. And then, well, basically, so have some patience. Patience is very important to have patience. Some luck is involved. And then, yeah, eventually you can get stuff anywhere and you have a network built. And
Okay.
then, yeah,
So do you also collect games at all, or just the consoles?
just the consoles. I don't
Just the
collect games.
consoles. Okay. So do you plug them in and play and make sure they work, or is it just more of a visual thing?
Some of them, you would say they're too expensive to play, but that's actually the fun of it. Yes, I have tried to plug in everything I can and do the most ridiculous setups. And later, if you want, I can show you one of the most ridiculous Mario 64
Oh yeah,
setups ever made.
absolutely,
Facts.
absolutely. Yeah.
And so yeah,
So, what about when you are purchasing these things? So, for me, I buy a lot of games and I go onto a price charting and I look at how much it's worth. How do you determine if you're getting a good deal? Because these are rare and these are not, there's maybe
yeah.
one of a kind. So,
I never was something about value. We don't really have valuations also. So in my opinion, if something has a great story to it and you have the funds, and it's not like if both parties are happy, then it's okay for me. It sounds very weird because of course price charting, when you see a console worth let's say $100 and you see that console for sale for let's say $125, it's overvalued. But if you really want to have it, and it's very rare, like when else do you see it for sale? You can either wait for the next one or go for it. And that's yeah, you have to balance things out. Like the rarer they are, you sometimes have to jump on it, depending, doesn't matter how much it's worth.
now, do you sell any of the things in your collection?
Yes, I do. I
Okay.
sell like you have to get the money somewhere. Yeah. So
Uh huh. Uh
I
huh.
buy like let's say five things from Japan and I keep two and I sell the rest for, as long as I can get my money back. The rest I don't
Gotcha.
really care about it.
Gotcha.
But yeah,
Gotcha.
I have a network with like the 1%.
Huh?
It's
Yeah.
the really rare stuff, and that's you have to think and bargain different with those people. It's about a lot of zeros, not about
Okay.
grading game with water and stuff, but
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
things with a story that are unique, one of one pieces.
Right.
And
Do
yeah,
you have these? Do you have things shipped to you, or do you often travel to pick these things up?
that's a nice question. Nine
Uh,
out of 10 times they're shipped. Yes.
okay.
They're shipped
Okay.
to me because they're from North America and stuff. I don't pick them up. But sometimes when there are or there's a full collection for sale, and there are a few pieces that I want, and there's a full collection, then if it's 7 hours drive, then yeah, I'll go there. It's also a risk,
Right.
imagine everything is crap and that doesn't work or whatever.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
So let's get to the meat of why you're here then. So let's look at some of your consoles. So what would you say? I have some questions set up. So the first one I want to know is what your favorite console that you have in your possession is.
In my possession, well, there is a lot of consoles. My
Uh,
favorite one is a Switch. There's a Switch that I really love. It's from Labo. You know Labo?
no.
Labo is the cardboard pieces from a Switch.
Right, right. Yes,
Yeah, you have
yes,
to put them
yes.
together. And there was a contest by Nintendo that if you make your own Labo, your own device, we will give you a limited edition Switch made, well, it feels like cardboard. It has a different texture
Mm,
to it. And that console I have now,
wow.
that's my favorite, really.
Did you purchase it from the person who won it in the contest or
Yes, I purchased it from
okay.
the Australian winner, and it took me 1.5 years to negotiate with the guy. So he's good,
Wow.
but he wanted to go to university and save some funds. So in this case, we finally managed to get a deal. And by any coincidence, he doesn't really wanted to ship it because it was too expensive and too rare.
Huh?
I
Huh?
understand, but he
Huh?
happens to have family in Germany, very close to the Dutch border, and he went there 1 month later. So it was actually very lucky and great that he was from the other side of the world to his family in Germany, where for me was only
Wow.
2 hours drive.
Wow. So what about something that was maybe the hardest one to find that you were looking for and you finally found it after, 3 years of searching? Do you have a console like
Phew,
that?
phew, I have so many of them.
Several. Okay.
Several,
Is
yeah,
there
yeah, yeah.
is there one that stands out?
Well, for example, the Labo Switch took me 1.5 years to negotiate and 5 years to find. And there's something else called a Nintendo 64 DD. It's a disk drive for
Mm-hmm.
Nintendo
Yep.
64 unreleased in Japan. And I'm still looking for, well, it's the only game part I collect. I collect everything of that part. Sealed copies of the rarest games. And so far it's 7 years, and sometimes they're there, but the price is just too much for me to fund them.
Gotcha. Okay. So still searching for those then.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
What about and you don't have to share the price of it, but the most expensive item you have.
The most expensive.
Yeah.
In terms of selling value or that I bought for?
That you bought it for. Yeah. Yeah.
It's a prototype of Nintendo 64 DD. That's my most
Okay.
expensive console that I have at this moment.
Okay. And you don't want to share how much that was? You
I
don't
don't
have
share
to.
prices, sorry.
Okay.
I'm not
Perfect.
really a
Perfect.
valuation guy, so I'm not sharing
That's
any
fine.
prices, but that's the number one.
All right. What about something maybe that you consider the weirdest console you own? Something maybe no one's ever heard of?
I can get it for you if you give me a
Perfect.
second. Yes,
Absolutely.
give me 1 second.
If you've
Meanwhile, go
watched
to this website. It's great.
if you've watched the show before, you know that everyone at some point stands up and walks around. So you have joined the club.
Let's go. So this is a handheld, and it is called the Nintendo Zone Box. It's a very small device, but this is a Nintendo 1DS, basically. This is only the touchscreen. And this is a console where you put a DS demo game inside. You just plug it in. Where's the plug-in? You plug it in over here. And you just left it in the shelf or something, and people can download games from it. So they made a very big box. I have it in another room. It's a very big box with 3 consoles inside, power supply, battery, the whole thing. And it was pretty expensive to make because also the thing was made of metal. And now Nintendo made a smaller version, which is this one. And it's called the Zone Box or the Nintendo 1DS.
Okay. Very cool. And I understand you also told me you have some hardware near you right now that you want to show off, or some cool and interesting things
I have hardware all around me, but
all around you. Okay.
yeah, I can show you stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. Show us some cool stuff. So
All
this
right.
is the first on the move podcast
This is
we've
on the
done.
move.
So
Yes, this is
yeah.
on the move
Perfect.
live.
Perfect.
I have behind me, this is a full set of GameCubes.
Okay.
They're
So every
all
color.
the GameCubes, every color. Yes, we
Yeah.
have the basic colors. We have all the limited edition with a Game Boy player, and we have some other nice bundles there are with like special faceplates. And over
And
here we have all the controllers,
these are all complete in box, right? Correct?
all complete in box. Yeah.
Yes. Yes.
And if you
Okay.
want to see rarities, now this is the time where
Yes.
I change my camera because I was finding
All
the
right.
button. All right,
Let's do
where's
it.
the button? You know what? No button.
Oh
These
no.
are These are very limited edition MTV GameCubes, and only 5
Okay.
of them exist in different colors. And each color are made. Sorry. Each color are 5 of them made, except
Huh?
the center one. That's 9 of them made. But it's a full set, and it happens to be for sale because of our different projects.
Why did MTV make those?
So apparently there was a collaboration between Nintendo Europe and MTV in the winter something, so some sport winter event. And MTV joined, and there was some radio activities that you can win these MTV GameCubes for.
Okay. Very
So
cool.
yeah. And let's see. Here is the Labo Switch.
Yes. Yep.
It's a
It
brown
does look
Switch.
like cardboard. Yeah.
It feels like cars, but it has a different texture to it. And if I lift this one up at the back, there's also Labo Switch.
Hmm. And there's only one of those. Is that correct?
There are in total 10 of them.
10 of them. Okay.
10 of them, and 2 of them are in the United States. So the event was hosted globally. 1 in Europe, 1 in Japan, 1 in Australia, and 1 in... Sorry, two versions. 2 versions in all those regions, and 2 in North America. And then 2 years later, North America held another event where you can win 2 more. So 10 in total.
What is the newest item that you have? The newest piece of hardware?
Newest piece of hardware. Actually, I went to the Nintendo Museum, so I got these wonderful pins. And new hardware. I have to think. I don't know.
That's okay. That's okay. What else are you
all
planning
right.
on showing us? Yeah, no, this is great. I enjoy seeing
All right.
all these.
So this is a kiosk from Japan. It's a Nintendo 64 kiosk from Japan. And running is, I will show you. This is a Mario 64 disc version. It's a copy from the N64 DD, which is inside here.
Wow.
So this game was unreleased. There was a game found in Japan 7 years ago, and it was dumped, and this is a copy of it. Let me just remove the remote controls.
What is the cartridge in the N64? Because it looks quite large compared to a normal
Yes.
cartridge.
I wanted to show you. This is a Nintendo 64 development kit that runs the prototype cartridge. And this cartridge makes sure the development kit starts up.
Okay.
So this is the game. of Mario 64.
Wow.
It's a blue disc. There you go. And I turn it on, and then you will see this icon. And now it will start.
Wow. So you
But this,
purchased all
yeah.
those pieces separately, or did they all were they all
Yes, I
purchased as
purchased
one?
all the
Okay.
things separately. I have a dev kit, I have a kiosk and everything, but this is the most expensive Mario 64 setup in the world, valued at $10,000.
Wow. That is
So it's a nice piece of history, and people can just come here and play it if they want to.
So yeah, that's a question I had. So for all these things that you have, is it open to public? So if I'm ever in the Netherlands, can I come by and just look in person? Is that something you
Yeah,
do?
yeah, sure. Yeah, you're welcome to visit. You're welcome to play. You're welcome to touch pictures, videos, anything.
Oh, okay. Very cool.
If you ever want to hold the Labo Switch because you never got the chance, well, this is your
Yeah,
chance. You can do it.
that's awesome. What else do you have? Anything else
I
on your mind that's I'm sure
Well,
there's
in the
tons of
same.
things you could show us today.
This is the rarest GameCube in the world. In
Let's
the
see it.
world. Let me just go. This is a prototype of the GameCube,
Okay.
and it's
The
called.
dolphin, right? The
This is the
dolphin.
Dolphin, yes, and it's called
Yeah.
the Space World because of this little window on top, and it's actually very see-through. It's see-through on top, and this is a real prototype. There's only one known in the wild, and the
And
other
we're looking
one
at it.
you're looking at it, and the other
Hmm.
one is shown in the official Nintendo Museum at the prototype section.
Wow.
So
So
this
that
is
controller, the controller that's next to it looks a little different too. Is that a prototype
yes,
controller? Yeah.
these are all prototype controllers, and I will guide you through all the fancy controller stuff. I can't find the rotation button on my camera, but hey, this is
Yeah,
the
that's
very
okay.
first one. Back then, when GameCube did not have any colors invented for it,
Wow. Looks a
so it's
little different.
white.
I mean, the basic setup is the same, but the size and kind of, it's
Yeah,
a little different.
it is different. It has no D-pad. It has no Z button. It wasn't
Correct.
invented yet. No start button.
Oh,
The B cup,
wow.
the B one, is bean shaped. And yeah, slowly but sure, they added color, they added the Z button, they added some board differences, and then now they made them playable in these ones.
So
So I,
back to the GameCube, I the reason I said Dolphin is because I remember back when there was word of Nintendo making a new console and they called it Project Dolphin, if I'm not mistaken,
yes,
correct?
let me show you something cool. If I can show it with one hand, or else you have a
Okay.
nice blooper thing for your reel. This is a ADI GameCube, and these ones were especially made for developers who worked on a graphic card called the Flipper. If we turn it over and take off the faceplate, because you can, sorry, camera, you can take off the faceplate. We'll do this with
Okay.
one hand, which is usually
That
not really
takes
a
some
while.
skill.
Take some skill, and I'm gonna show off.
Wow.
Mm-hmm. Okay, it should be okay. All right, cut this piece out, please.
Yeah, we'll edit this out. We'll make this
Edit it out.
more
Yeah, thank you
more
very much.
compact. Or I could tell a joke maybe right now while we're waiting. I don't know. I don't
Go
know any
ahead.
good jokes. I don't know
All
any
right,
good jokes.
I have it. All right, so
Perfect.
this is the faceplate of the ATI, but if you turn it around, it says Dolphin.
It does.
So this is the design team for Flipper, and yeah, there's a little dolphin on the back. So this is early, very very early model back when they still had dolphin.
Wow. That's very cool.
All right,
Anything else? I mean, we could probably go on forever, right?
yeah, we can. I'm not sure why I cannot turn the camera, but hey, you know what? I will just bend over a little bit.
Yeah, we were able to do it earlier, but not now. Oh, what is this?
This is a GameCube development kit. It's blue, and in here there are cartridges called MPDP cartridges. There are literally a hard drive in a case, and with here there are writable. And then when you're done
It looks
testing
like
on your PC,
it looks like a PC essentially.
it
It's on its
is.
side like a computer tower with just controller ports.
Yeah. They have different buttons for whatever programming, but you connect this to your PC. And then when you have the cartridge, you go to the red GameCube, and the red GameCube can read those cartridges, and you can see how the game plays on the GameCube.
Wow.
So this is a dev kit GameCube, and it's
Wow.
called the NPDP, and this one reads hard drives.
Interesting.
Yeah,
So when it comes to rare consoles, especially with the GameCube, the only one that I know of in terms of GameCube that exists is I think Heineken had a limited edition
Heineken.
GameCube. Yes.
Yeah, this one.
Yes, exactly. I've seen a couple of
Yes,
those actually for sale here in game stores in the US.
yes. And this is the official magazine where you can win one.
Yeah, right. It was a promotion to win a GameCube if you bought Heineken beer, and yeah. And how many
Yep.
of those are there? Do you know?
There should be 50 black ones and 50 indigo ones. So 100 in total, but in two different colors. So basically 50.
And you have both, or just the black one?
I only have the black one. It comes boxed. I have a black. It's a regular box, but the serial number, everything matches. So yeah, that's
Gotcha. That was a wonderful tour. No, I mean,
yeah.
I'm sure there's way more to see for anyone who's ever interested in, and if you are ever in the Netherlands, for sure, go check it out. So let's talk about maybe your favorite console that you've ever played. I know we talked a little bit about some consoles and things, but is there one that you really just had lots of games growing up that you loved to play?
It should be N64. Yeah, and I'm
Yeah.
kind of keeping with it. Let me just
Yeah.
put on the thingy.
Yep.
Yeah, because the N64 was the console I got from my parents, and
Yeah.
that's really the one that's impressed me in gaming.
I
I played
agree.
Mario 64. Yeah.
I think there were a lot of multiplayer games on Nintendo 64 for the first time, and it was really the first time where you could play 4 people at one time without needing some sort of adapter or something.
Oh, yeah, yeah. Mario Kart 64 was brilliant and 4 player. Of course, GoldenEye, can't miss it.
Yeah. Yeah.
I have a special place in Jet Force Gemini.
Well,
So
I've never
probably
played that one, but I know of it.
it's probably my favorite game ever for N64
Okay.
because
What is your
it
favorite?
has a lot of gore and stuff, so it's great.
It has a lot of gore in it?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. You shoot aliens' heads off and you collect them.
Really? I did. That's odd for me, when I think Nintendo, I don't think gore and violence, right? I think multiplayer, fun to play, like, kind of rated E for everyone.
And then the fun thing is, and well, it's not so fun in the game, but you can save the good guys, but you can also shoot the good guys and collect their heads as well.
Interesting. I'm gonna have to
Yeah.
check that game out. I thought it was one that I wouldn't like, but based on what you're telling me, it seems like something I should play. So that's your favorite Nintendo 64 game. Do you have a favorite game of all time for any system?
It has to be Smash Brothers Melee.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, I used to play Smash Brothers competitively as well, so
Okay.
I have a heart for Smash Brothers for sure.
And who is your go-to character on that?
My go-to character was Link because he's very technical in terms of very technical things like moonwalking, bomb jumps, and stuff like this.
Yeah, you kind of have to know what you're doing when you play as him. I personally get a lot of hate for this, but I always play as Kirby. But there's a lot of haters that say that's cheap to play as Kirby all the time. But
For Nintendo 64, Kirby's really good. On GameCube, he's the worst character in the game.
I still play as him. I'm always
That's
always
completely
Kirby.
fine.
It doesn't matter.
I
So
play him
we
in
talked.
Smash Ultimate, so it's great.
Perfect. We talked a lot about Nintendo games, but let's say Nintendo didn't exist. I know, sad world we would live in, right? But
At
what
will.
would be what would be your favorite console then?
In all honesty,
Yeah.
Xbox.
Xbox. Okay.
Yes.
Did you ever have any of the rare Xbox consoles that existed?
Yeah. I made this console, Xbox One, which was completely white, but also the white controller. It was before
Hmm.
the white one was ever released. Then
Hmm.
I had an NFL one. NFL was it was made of chrome. It was completely chrome with NFL engraved. It was actually very
Huh?
nice, one of 50.
Huh?
And there's an Xbox I have now, but it's now displayed in a museum. It's from Titanfall. There's a very limited edition Titanfall console, never released in the public, but it was given away now to the Titanfall developers. And I just like the colors of Xbox Ones. Actually, I only own a few. I have a kiosk next door, and yeah, I have a sweet spot for Xbox for some reason.
Okay. What about your favorite non-Nintendo game then?
Non-Nintendo game.
Yeah, you don't have any?
Oh,
It's too
on
difficult to decide.
well, modern or retro?
Either. Yeah.
Either. Okay, modern
Yeah.
now is either Balatro, the poker rogue game, or The Binding of Isaac. Those are the two games I play every day.
Okay.
And back in the days, I kind of never really played anything else but Nintendo because I never had something
Really?
else but Nintendo.
Really?
So
Okay.
maybe PC game, I don't know.
Okay. What about your favorite multiplayer game of all time? Would it be Smash Brothers?
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, yeah. Now,
All right.
now I'm more into Smash Bros. Ultimate than Melee, but my heart is still at Melee. But I play
Okay.
more Ultimate.
Okay. Are there any other franchises that or series of games that you're very into? For example, Resident Evil would be mine. I love all the Resident Evil games.
I was very afraid of my Resident Evil. It was a very scary
Really?
game back in the days with
Oh,
the stupid jump
100%.
scares.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
always remembered, and that was the game that I actually turned it off when I was a kid. Is when
Really?
you played, I think, was Resident Evil 1 in the
Uh-huh.
house in the mansion,
Huh?
and suddenly there were dogs jumping through the window.
Yep,
I would
yep.
never forget that part when I was a kid. I was so scared.
Yeah, yeah. The dogs jump through, and also the very first zombie that you encounter when
Oh
you're
yeah, yeah, he
walking
was
and he's
in a
kneeling down
hallway, yeah.
eating someone's brains, and then he turns around, shows his face. Yeah, that was very scary, but I got through it. I got through it.
Very nice. Yeah, the games were too difficult back in the days because ammos and herbs were very limited.
Hmm.
But yeah, the game was great.
So, is there something that you are currently looking for that you don't have,
I always
that
look
you
for
cannot
stuff that I
find?
don't have.
Yeah, yeah. What's an
Always.
example?
So it sounds weird, but I only now development kits and prototypes. It's it's a weird world, and they're very hard to find, and they have a great story to it, in my opinion. So let's say the Nintendo DS. That's one of the grills that I want to find. And
What makes it
yeah,
the
the
E3 Nintendo DS? Is it something special about it? How do you know it's from E3?
because it was shown at E3 before the Nintendo DS was launched. And it's just the story wise. I want a DS that's not released. It was shown on the E3 back in 2005, I believe, or four. It was like a
Does it
prototype
look
model.
does it look different? Like,
Yes, it looks
okay,
different. The
okay.
inside of the DS has two colors, two color
Hmm.
tones,
Gotcha.
and that's very interesting to me. And I owned one version later, but it's just not enough. I want the OG.
Right, right.
Hmm.
So, do you have any advice? Obviously, you're kind of a niche collector in a sense where you only collect consoles, right? But there are people who might just collect, Sega Genesis games, or maybe other people who just want to collect consoles. Like everyone has their interests. Do you have advice to anyone who is just starting to collect, whatever it may be?
Yeah, yeah. Have patience. If you see something rare online for something you can barely afford, just wait for the next one because it will be it will be there at some point. But yeah, patience. And I always say, like, people that say they don't have space, if you can still see the color of your walls, you have space.
Yeah, that's a good point. No, I agree. I see a lot of people who can't see the colors of their walls, but still keep adding things to their rooms. So yeah, it can really get out of hand for sure. For sure. Do, do you have a website, correct? Tell me a little bit about that.
Yes. So it's consolevariations.com. It's an online database with every console, every controller, every dev kit, prototype, kiosk, accessories in the world. Well, the biggest one so far. And if you have a console or something niche, and you say, "Hey, I don't know what this is and where it's from," you can go on Cons Variations and type in Nintendo 64, let's say red, and you'll find it, and you'll know exactly where it's from and how many are made, and the whole history about it.
And there are pictures as well of these
Yeah,
things.
pictures by collectors, pictures that we uploaded. People are free to upload any picture they want. We just approve it. And also people are free to upload any new variation. And we have quite a lot, actually. There are 3 to 5 new variations each day uploaded.
Have you learned about any new variations yourself just based on
Oh,
starting that
yeah.
website? Uh-huh.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Before I made the site itself, we had like the 1,000 variations or something. And people keep adding and adding, and we keep approving. And now we are at 12,000 different kinds of variations
Wow.
on the site. And
Okay.
each time I'm like, okay, now we must have all of them. Now probably no one will upload. And then next day, poof, 20 more. It
Wow.
was, it's insane. Yeah.
So
New Game Boys. Hmm?
consolevariations.com is the
Console
website, correct?
variations. Yes. Consolevariations.com.
Okay. And it sounds kind of like a Wikipedia to me, right? Is
It
that
is.
very similar?
It's like a hyper Wikipedia dedicated on one special object, and this is the hardware of gaming.
And when did you start that?
I started this project in 2017. 17.
Okay. Okay.
I did it with a partner, and that partner is still a very good friend of mine. He's still my partner in business. And he went on a world trip, and I just make the site as one of those pre-built websites and everything manual, and it was great. But he noticed that we got a lot of revenue, like views, no revenue, zero revenue. And he said, "Hey, we should do something about it. We should make it professional. We should have an income, or else you will just spend your time on it." I was a bit skeptical and afraid, but eventually we agreed on putting some funds together, go to a development team and said, "Hey, make the best database site in the world." And yeah, they did it. They did an amazing job at it. And now the Sun is running well. Not in order to pay for my rent or something, but it's
Right,
it's
right.
sustainable enough to keep.
Very cool. And it's very informative, I'm sure, for people to go on and see and look at things they might have not known existed, or if they find something in the wild, like you said, hey, is this real or what's going on? Do you see a lot of in your search, do you see a lot of fake rare consoles?
Yes, but we can filter like before someone, after someone uploads it, we have to approve it. People in the start, when we just announced the upload feature, people uploaded pictures of Shrek. It's like, hey, you have those people, but we can just not
Right.
approve them at all.
Yeah.
But so everything on the site is legit
But
and it's
you
free.
personally, when you're looking to go and purchase a console that you're interested in, do you see people trying to sell fakes of certain consoles?
Yeah, of course. You have those like Pokemon Game Boy Advance SPs. They're very familiar of having AliExpress shells on them and sell them as legitimacy. Yeah, it's a
Do you ha-
shame, but
yeah. Do you have hint or tips for people when it comes to that? Because one of the things I tell people is if the price seems too good to be true, it probably is, and that's one of the main things. But there's other things when it comes to games, at least, that you can look at. Is there anything for consoles that you can look at to help you?
well, that's a good question. Yes, there are a few. For example, the Pokemon Game Boy Advance SPs are very rare, very expensive, and you see something indeed for too good to be true. It is usually how to find it. For example, on the back there should be a Pokemon Center sticker, and if it's not there, then it's high likely fake. Or the serial number. I think lots of AliExpress serial numbers start with XJU or something. So then you also know, and we record a few serial numbers on the site. So hey, if you have doubts, you can also ask me or ask my community or just go to console variations and see for yourself, like compare it. Some of them are lighter, some of the prints are just bad quality, and yeah.
One of the things I didn't see a lot of when you took us on the little tour was I didn't see any NES variations or SNES variations. Now, my question is, are there more variations with newer consoles, or are they in a different room, the ones you have, or
That's a funny question. Yes, the basic units, so the basic SNES, the basic NES, they're all shown in the museum behind glass. So I had some space issues, so I had to cut down some space. The museum invited me like, hey, I need some basic stuff. So there are a few cabinets with all kinds of basic things, like non-limited editions, and they're over there. But here there are all the limited edition ones. I do have something nice, and
okay,
it's like, is this one? Like an SNES kiosk, a little tribute about it?
okay. What game is in there right now? Oh, Killer
Killer
Instinct.
Instinct.
Yep. Okay. All right. Very cool. So the only things that I collect in terms of kind of similar to you would be the not for resale games. So like the SNES not for resale games and the Nintendo 64 not for resale
Yes.
games. Those are the things I'm trying to collect is to get all of those. So
Oh yeah, and not for resale games is great. I have one. If you're a Zelda fan, I have one very rare not for resale game, and it's a
is it the
very
great
obscure game.
the gray cart? Is it the gray cart of
It's
Ocarina?
not the great card. It's not even N64 related. It's CDI
Oh,
related.
oh wow, a not for resale CDI. Okay,
Yes, I have a not for resale CDI Zelda game.
okay. You did talk about a museum, I think. Is this a museum that's also in the Netherlands, or where is this located?
Yes, it's a museum in the Netherlands called the National Video Game Museum.
Huh?
They are the biggest museum in Europe so far, with 600 arcade cabinets, but also a lot of rooms where you can play the big four, Sega, Nintendo, and
And
all
a
of
lot
them
of
contains consoles and inside cabinets, and they're mine.
yeah, I was about to say. So a lot of the stuff they have is from you. You're a curator of the museum, I guess, essentially.
Yeah, contributor, exhibitor, volunteer. Yeah.
Very cool. Let's say, is there anywhere else if people want to see pictures or videos or things of your collection? Obviously, there's the website, Console Variations, where they can see these. Is there anywhere else that people can see these? Do you have any other social media or anything?
Not really.
Not
No,
really.
I do want to stay a little bit private in my own. I'm not really someone who posts a console on Instagram or something every
Yeah,
now and then.
sure.
Just go on the site. I post as many pictures I have on the site.
Hmm.
I don't want to be famous. I want the site to be famous. That's basically how it is.
Sure, sure. And I understand that. So I watched a documentary that you were in, and that's how
Mm,
I actually learned about you, essentially.
all right.
And I know there's a part two. Will we
Hmm.
see any console variations in part two, or is that top secret?
Yes. It is top secret, but I can tell
Yeah.
you that, yeah, you will. I will not
Okay.
highlight which one, but
Uh-huh.
yeah, you definitely will. I'm happy that he contacted me again for the role because I also heard that not to brag, but I was like in the top three favorites. So I was like, yes, let's go.
Wow. Okay. Very cool. Very cool. So one last question I do have for you is on that show, like I mentioned, there was a gold Wii that you had
Yes.
that was originally made for the Queen of England. Tell us about that just a little bit, and then if you don't mind telling us, where is it now?
So in 2009, THQ found out that the Queen of England liked to play on Wii Sports. So they decided to make their own game called Big Family Games. And to promote it, they made a gold Wii to give to the Queen as a marketing stunt. So that reached the media and was all great and all fun. But what the media didn't tell, obviously because THQ didn't publish it, is that if you give something as the Queen for marketing, it's not allowed. Like you're not allowed to market yourself in front of. You're not even allowed to send anything to the Queen. It could be a bomb or whatever. So they sent it back. The Queen never actually received it. They actually got it back, and it was there in their warehouse for years until in 2000 and something they went bust. That their warehouse, got sold and everything. And there was one guy from a obscure forum called Assembler Games, which unfortunately don't exist anymore, but Assembly Games, who purchased all the hardware in their entire warehouse and resold everything that's in it. And in the warehouse contained the Golden Wii. And he sold it to me after I figured out that, hey, he has it.
Wow. Okay. And then where is it now? Because you do not have it. Is that something you can disclose to us or no?
Yeah, of course. I wanted to buy myself my own place, my own house. And in order to get that, I had to sell all kinds of rarities. And I contacted two auctions. I contacted Heritage and I contacted Golden Auctions. Golden Auction was funny for me because, hey, it's a gold console on Golden.
Yeah, yeah.
They are more famous for slabs and NFL cards and stuff like this. But hey, they wanted to try my Wii. So yeah, sure, I'll contact them. We talked and I sold it via Golden Auctions. And funny enough, during that auction with high-end stuff, it was the number one most popular for the entire auction. So that was
Wow.
that was nice.
And how much did it sell for?
It
Just
sold
curious.
for $38,000.
Wow. Okay. And were there controllers with that too? Were the controllers
One
also gold? So one
one
gold
we
controller, one gold system, and then the what was the game called? The
Big Family Games was the game.
Big Family Games. Was the
Yes.
cartridge or was the case of that game also gold or no?
No, there was nothing
No.
special about it.
Okay. Oh, okay.
The
Very
only
cool.
the only funny thing I can tell you, and I told it in other media because now I sold it, now I don't care, is that I played Smash Bros. On it.
Oh, really? Okay. Just a normal Smash Brothers, right?
Yeah,
So
yeah,
so you have
I played Melee on it. So this is
with
the biggest flex I can do.
with the gold Wiimote, correct?
Now
Or
with
did you use a
the,
different?
I used the GameCube controller, of course,
Ah, okay. Okay.
but
Okay.
I
Well,
did
that would have been
play, I
that.
did play some Wii Sports on the Wiimote, of course, just to try.
Yeah. Plays just
But
like a
yeah,
regular Wii, I assume, right?
just a regular Wii. It just feels
Yeah.
very expensive.
Yeah, very good. So, is there anything else that you would like people watching to know about you or to know about console variations? That
Yeah, I mean, just go to conservation.com. We have the X profile, we have the Facebook, we have the Instagram, all even Blue Sky now. So go ahead, it's free, no account needed. You can to record your collection and price and everything, but
cool,
basically it's free. You can
very
just
cool.
go there, add stuff to your watch list also. Because
Okay,
if you add stuff to your watch list and it becomes for sale, you get notified.
Okay. Very cool. Well, that's awesome. No, I think what you're doing is great, kind of preserving history a little bit and with these consoles. And that's awesome because I too like history when it comes to different consoles or games. So I definitely want to visit the Netherlands sometime and walk
Great.
around and see these things in person. So, thanks again for joining me. I really appreciate it. It's been an
You're
excellent talk.
welcome.
I learned quite a few things. I hope people watching also learned quite a few things. Make sure you go to consolevariations.com. Check out all these consoles. If you're ever in the Netherlands, hunt Don down, find out where his little museum is located. The National Video Game Museum, correct? Is that the
Yes, National Video Game
yeah
Museum in Zoetermeer. That's the place.
in Zoetermeer? Did I say that right?
Yeah,
Zoetermeer.
perfectly fine.
Perfect. Perfect. Make sure you also follow me and subscribe, that you help build this community, which is kind of what the goal here is that I'm trying to do. Meet new people, connect people from all over the world. We have someone from the Netherlands. We've had Canada, lots of people from the US. But I'll see you all next time on Video Game Collectors on Call. Thanks, guys.
Thanks. Yeah.